We welcome in head coach Antonio Pierce. So, Coach, let's get back to the final sequence in Kansas City. There was miscommunication on the snap at the end. What did the players learn from that this week?
A lot. I don't think just player. I think our whole team, right? We always talk about the attention to details, focus at the very end. And listen, instead of focusing so much on that last play, I'm really want to look at how that team responded. That ball was at the 8-yard line. Was it 5 straight completions right down the field, real smooth, and then obviously just some communication with the snap and the timing, that's off. But the battle, the effort, the determination, the dedication, the way these guys competed for 4 quarters, that was, even with the loss, and I get it, even with the loss, that was the best game we played as a team. All 3 phases I thought did something that contributed, they played hard, they strained. Again, 15 seconds short.
Yeah, I thought the effort was tremendous, and Aiden played great. What did you see with his footwork and his progressions? Because the ball came out fast and very decisive.
That's the key right there, right? With Spags and Kansas City, all the pressure they're bringing from different angles and everybody coming. I thought he did a really good job with the hots, sitting in there, stood in the pocket a few times, and then actually had some plays where he was a little mobile, and you saw some footwork and moving around in the pocket, things that he's been working on. But for a guy coming off, 5-6 weeks, not playing, not practicing, and going out there first game in a hostile environment and having a game he had and making some big-time throws, again, put us in position to win.
You nailed it with Sincere McCormick. You had him ready to play. What'd you see on film when you looked at it, especially his aggressive play once he got through the defensive line?
It's the same thing that's been shown up all year on practice squad. A guy that just runs through contact, very decisive, good vision, runs hard, makes it really easy, I think, for offensive linemen because they know right now just get a hat on a hat and he's going to be running right by you. So we've done a good job with that in the run game. 2 weeks in a row, I felt like we're moving in the right direction. Obviously, this game was a good output for us from a rushing yard standpoint, but really good, with the O-line, hat on a hat, and both running backs, Amir and Sincere, hitting the hole, man, and just really giving us an opportunity to be a balanced offense.
Tell us about Brock in a game where the targets might be slow in the beginning or you got to see him adjust. What is that like? Because if the targets aren't there on the first or second drive, it doesn't slow him down. It seems like he gets better, and then if he gets a lot of targets early, wow, you just keep feeding him, and he has these monster games.
Yeah, I'll tell you a secret. He's the number 1 target every play. Now, teams are doing a good job of matching up, playing zone, double teaming him in man coverage, putting their best players on him. I mean, he's getting matched up against the number 1 corners now in the last 3 weeks. So it's been very interesting of how teams have attacked Brock. But I think that also gives a credit to our offense because now you're seeing Jacoby Myers make good plays, Trey Tucker. But the one thing about Brock, just throw it in the area around him. Just throw it. I mean, these one-hand catches. I mean, his catch radius and his ability to make tough catches in traffic is really impressive. And just a hard, gritty player, man. And, again, he's running away from corners. He's a matchup problem. Everybody sees that. And, again, he's just getting better and better. And I think that's the one thing you really want to see from all our younger players, right? Them getting better later in the season. But Brock is – when the game's on the line, you got to find a way to get the ball to 89.
Yeah. Coach, the defense played amazing. They held Kansas City at under 20. You had 5 defensive starters out. If we go back to Christian Wilkins, and I do on the radio, and Epps, and Malcolm Kuntz had a monster game last Christmas there. Then you look at Jacorian not there and Nate Hobbs. Those are 5 starters who are out, and the reserves and your backups played big enough to make that a one-possession game.
Yeah, this is a resilient group, man.
Yeah.
Next man up mentality. We've been talking about that all season, It's a shame the injury bug hit us this year, that Thursday going into the Chargers week, and it's been just consistent each and every week. We're losing somebody. But I think, again, it's a credit to the coaches and the players of stepping up for that opportunity. I mean, you got DCam in here, and listen, I mean, he got some tough matchups, right? And he's going to learn a lesson on the road, but he doesn't blink, he doesn't flinch. And just all these younger defensive players that were playing, especially at the D-line and the secondary, that's a telling of a staff that's working their tail off and players that are still bought in, right? Even with our record, listen, man, I got this opportunity. I told him even, today in our team meeting, listen, we got 5 games left, and this is all about how we finish the season, right? It didn't go the way we wanted, but we could finish and still change the narrative. And that's what these guys are doing. That's what Kansas City was really about. And I think they did a good job of getting us there again, coming up short, but for these younger players to step up was huge.
Tell us something about Chason and his story. Wow, when he came around the edge there, he was flying, a former top draft pick. What is he playing for, his future here in this organization? He really popped in that game.
Yeah, listen, KC, I mean, he's been showing up throughout the season, but I thought this was a really game where you mentioned Malcolm earlier, who had a huge game last year, 3 sacks in this one. And KC had a sack and a half and did a great job. I had those 2 penalties early. Once we moved on from that, the speed off the edge, because we know we're getting with Max, right? They're sliding to him. They're chipping him. You got the tight end. Hell, 2 or 3 times he's getting triple teamed.
Yeah.
So there's other opportunities in these one-on-one opportunities for these other players on our team and role players we talked about to make their stance on the team and where they want to be at for the future of the Raiders in 2025. And listen, he's a first-round talent for a reason, right? You see the traits. You see the physical traits there. And the more and more we can get players like that in our system, these blue collar guys and top-tier players, the better we'll be.
Tell us about Todd Bowles and your background, just seeing him and the culture that he has and his style of coaching there in Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, just, a gritty group, tough, hard-nosed. They're going to be a defensive-style team even when they won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. But they're pretty good on offense, right? And they got these two backs. That's tough challenge. They got 13 Mike Evans. So they've got a good balance now with their offense. You know what they're going to do defensively. They got these big old bodies inside with Vea, number 50, inside. They got the two bookends there. Probably a little banged up in the secondary, but, they run what they run, and that's the best part about it. They're going to bring pressure. You're going to get some Sims, Sim 2, Sim 3s, and things of that nature. So we got to declare where the pressure's coming from, and Aiden needs to have a game like he had last week where we're getting the ball out quickly.
Bucky Irving in the last two games, 337 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns. When he gets through a hole, he really puts pressure on linebackers and safeties.
Yeah, you talk about an impressive rookie. He's impressive, right? I know Rashad White very well, the other running back. But when you watch film, all of a sudden, look at this number 7 guy. And when he gets in space, he's made it very difficult for guys to make tackles. You've seen some really good football players miss tackles on him and make guys look silly in space. So we got to do a good job of roll call to the ball, get on them. Don't get these guys going. Try to limit those space plays, and hopefully we got some vice tackles and get the ball off of them.
Mike Evans catches a lot of 50-50 targets. If they're in the red zone, they just seem to throw it up. There's only a few guys, Devontae when he was here back in the day in Green Bay, where you just know if he gets one-on-one coverage, they'll just give him a ball to go up and get. He's spectacular.
Yeah, one of the toughest matchups we got going into the game. I'll be honest. This guy's a physical matchup. He's got the height. He's got the size. And they don't hide that they're going to throw the ball.
Yeah, I know.
There's no hiding to it. They're like, look over there, single coverage, I'm throwing the ball over there to 13. So we got to do a good job competing. I got a lot of faith in Jack Jones and DCam, and obviously we can't leave them guys one-on-one throughout the game. We got to give them some help there. And then when Mike Evans comes across the middle, Spill and Diallo got to punish him.
They have Levante David, and I'm going to go all the way back to Derek Brooks. As a former linebacker, they have a culture at that position, similar to what the Ravens have done over the years, what you did when you played with the Giants. We're an organization, they figure out their linebackers, and that's really the core of how they play. What's that about?
Yeah, he fits Todd Bowles throughout.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's smart, he's tough. I mean, what is he, in year 13? He's still running like he's a young buck.
Yeah.
And more importantly, you can tell him just really coordinating and anchoring the defense, right? Getting everybody lined up. They're dealing with injuries like we are as well. But you haven't seen a decline in his play. I mean, here's a guy that still plays in backfield, still matched up on running backs pretty well. A lot of respect for him. And like I always say, I always admire watching other linebackers play. But, much credit I give him. We got a pretty good one in Robert Spillane.
Absolutely. And your red zone defense now, 1.88 yards per play. That's lowest in the NFL. What is working with your red zone defense over the last month?
Yeah, I really a credit to our staff and our players buying into it. That's something we started in offseason and training camp, and we had some rough stretches here the last couple of weeks, especially against Kansas City and Cincinnati in prior weeks. But, really just made some changes, dialed up. The red zone's all about your eyes and details, man, right? And quarterback play, that really plays an effect to it as well. But if we can be dialed in, give these guys different looks, make them hold the ball a little longer, and then obviously our front is really doing a really good job of winning their one-on-one matchups.
Last one, a long road trip, Raider Nation up there in northern Florida. You got a couple extra days off after a tough game. The mindset of this team going into Tampa Bay?
Grind, man. Just keep grinding. Blue-collar mentality. Look, we've played pretty well on the road. I know the record doesn't show that, but if you look at us on the road, we've been in games, had a big win, obviously, early in the season in Baltimore. Thought we was right there last week to put a bow on that one. Did not go the way we wanted to at the end. But I'm very proud of how our team has got up. We changed our schedules. We get up early in the morning. We get on East Coast time. And then we go out there, man, and we say it's us against the world. And Raider Nation's been with us throughout. All our road games, man, the fan base has really been there. And I appreciate it, even in this tough year, just still staying with us and being true.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.